I want to give a huge thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Therapy isn't something to run away from, it's a vessel to run towards. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and it's 100% online, so break out your comfies. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time. Anytime. And schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. No more fumbling to get a session on the calendar. You schedule based on when the time is right for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. Therapy changed my life for the better. Pun intended. And with BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Rocky. That's betterhelp.com/Rocky. Greetings from Earth. This is Rocky Powell reporting not live from our mother planet, though outside she may look like Mars. That's right, we experienced toxic air quality. I'm talking bad. We experienced that air quality because of some fires that were going down in Canada. Is South Park the new Simpsons with their outlandish yet accurate predictions? Stemming from a song written in 1999 entitled Blame Canada? Or is the East Coast just finally experiencing non-liquid climate change? Regardless of what the answer is, Wednesday, June 8th was a weird day. I know you experience weird shit over there, but we've never had it be orange outside, okay? Especially at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. We are surrounded by skyscrapers. The only time we get to experience fires is if we go to the suburbs and sit around a fire pit. Or if there's a track fire on the subway that will delay our commute in a way where the energy of 70 other people who are being inconvenienced as they wait in a box with no service is pressed up against us. You may have traffic, but we have train traffic, and that should make you shudder. So we were freaked out, okay? The masks had a brief resurgence. Oh yeah. The flexers were flexing with their KN95s. I had a mask on too, I can't even front. The smell was giving, oops, I'm at a bonfire and I'm 17 and my ride home is drunk. And Uber doesn't exist yet, but if it did, I'm 5 towns away anyway. Kind of sense. The air from the fire was giving someone who doesn't know the words to "We didn't start the fire but is trying anyway" sense. The air from the fire was giving Danky Candle. So yes, I masked up too. The mask isn't my problem, no. My problem was with their dumb, with a capital motherfucking dumb, unit of measurement. Oh, country, 'tis of thee, sweet, sweet land of liberty. You have done it again. Why do we even go to school and learn measurements if you aren't going to real life equate these measurements to anything? The length of a football field, the size of 7 school buses, approximately 10 chihuahuas. The way they broke down our air quality was by saying it was the same as smoking 6 cigarettes. This is an issue for a multitude of reasons. The first being, how long do you have to be outside to hit that measurement, huh? Is it 20 minutes or is it 2 hours? You realize that a third of New York City is addicted to cigarettes, right? 6 cigarettes may sound like a light day to them. You may be sweetening the pot. You may be making the outside seem appealing for both their wallets and their guilty pleasure. To whom it may concern, stop using measurements based on a habit you didn't like of your ex's. To say 6 cigarettes and not give an amount of time ratio is nuts. Some people were outside sniffing the air just to feel alive, and some people had to work during our toxic air ruse. If you were lucky enough to be free during the red shitstorm outside, I will tell you what it felt like to work during it. It felt like being a musician on the Titanic. We gotta play while the ship goes down. A real bummer. I'll never forget that weird 72 hours where all we saw and breathed was red. The climate is changing. There's no doubt about that. But there is one phrase that still rings true, and you can choose to interpret it however you like. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Time for
Duh. Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, hello. Did you have a good week? I sure hope so. I hope you saw an old friend, made a new friend, maybe someone went down on you in a sports car, or maybe you got a piece of an unexpected fruit. Maybe you paid off a credit card, and maybe you finally got a day off just to relax. Whatever your week brought you, I hope it was good, baby. I'd like to start off by giving a huge shout out to the Armory community. The Armory is the improv comedy community that I have been a performer at for about 4.5 years. I've made some lifelong friends there. I've strengthened friendships I had with people before the Armory through there. And I've been able to keep my improv skills sharp as a tack because of this place. We had our annual award ceremony this past Saturday, and it was too much fun. The only difference between us and a televised award show was that it wasn't televised. But as I sat there and I watched my pals win award after award, make funny speeches, heartwarming speeches, and sometimes no speeches, I thought, this is how celebrities feel at award shows. They're all community members who spend tons of time together, and they see each other in some of their most vulnerable states. I don't know if you've ever been to an improv show, but we do some pretty vulnerable stuff. The only difference is a major TV network wasn't filming our awards. The emotions don't change. Emotions only change if you go backwards. But when you're going forward in life, the nerves you would feel acting in a play in first grade or being a part of a big game in sports are the same nervous emotions you feel when you're in high school doing those same activities. Then are the same nerves you could feel playing in the World Cup or stepping on stage doing a Broadway show. Those emotions only decrease if you go back in time, which you can't do. But as you move forward, those emotions stay the same and only the stakes get higher. That award show was our Tonys. That was our Oscars. God damn it, it was our Kids' Choice Awards. I was awarded the Icon Award, and to be given that award by a community I respect and love so much really, really touched me. So come out to support live comedy, especially at the Armory. I found out I got robbed this week. Shook down. Yes, I am fine. I'm $5 down, but I'll recover. I was down on Bleecker Street, and Bleecker Street is home to the musicians. It's home to the actors, and it's home to the funniest comics on the goddamn planet. So Bleecker Street is where I spend a lot of my days. The other night, at approximately 1:45 a.m., my friend and I are walking to his car from a jovial evening, you dig? And since I'm a jovial gal having a jovial night, I was high on a jovial edible. Thing about me is I keeps my head on swivel all the time. And because of this, I don't make a lot of eye contact with people who wander, who are perhaps a little down and out or maybe aggressive. Eye contact can get you in a lot of trouble with the wrong person, but a man popped out of a cafe at 1:45 a.m. while I was walking to my friend's car, and boy, oh boy, if I didn't accidentally make eye contact with the wrong one. I tried to keep walking, but it was too late. He was on my heels like socks. I know what he wanted. Probably dead ass, but also probably some money. So he's asking for $1 over and over again. So I reach in my jacket pocket, high as a bitch, and I pulled out a $5 and I handed it to him. And while I'm handing him the $5 bill in my stone state, I notice this man's shoes are fresh to motherfucking death. And his fingernails are clean as shit. And bitch, this isn't a goddamn $1 bill. This is a $5 bill. Lord, I handed this man my $5. You know how many loose potatoes I can buy with $5? Roughly 8. A $5 to a man with nicer nails than me, that is called a robbery, y'all. And do you know what my friend said to him after I handed that man a $5 bill worth roughly 8 loose potatoes at the market? My friend said to him, "That was from both of us." And he said that because the funniest people hang out on Bleecker Street, baby. That brings us to Rocky's highest thoughts, my most stoned thoughts of the week. Number one, I wish there was a way to give dogs legitimate therapy with time limits, tissues, a couch, the works. Dogs deserve the world. Number two, do you think plants ever forget to give us oxygen the way we sometimes forget to give them water? Number three, the older you get, the more your nighttime routine should feel like shutting down an entire establishment. And number four, if boy band members from the 90s and early 2000s that were totally feuding then can now make TikToks all the time as if they're besties, then maybe you need to practice a little forgiveness in your own life. My guest this week is Britt Miggs. Britt is a comedian and writer. Her work's been featured in Reductious, Flex Magazine, and countless others. She's received a Daytime Emmy, and her stand-up is so raw and real and funny, if you don't know who she is, you'll be excited to get to know her. Her wild word was random, and that's life, baby. Sometimes it's random, so enjoy the ride. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me at Wild Nights with Rocky on TikTok and Instagram, at Wild Nights Pod on Twitter. If you want to watch extended interviews with all of my guests, please subscribe on YouTube. You can support the show for $2 or $5 a month by joining my Patreon. A big thank you and a future thank you to everyone who's written and everyone who will write a review when this episode is over. It really does make a difference. And now, please enjoy my Wild Nights conversation with Britt Miggs. Britt, welcome. Thank you so much for doing the podcast.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. So I don't think you know this, but I know this about us, but I don't think you know that we have this in common. You're a pit girly, but for sketch.
Yes.
Amazing. I
Yes.
was a pit girly, but for improv for years.
Love it. Love the
Yes.
pit. I know it's like such a fun, crazy place. I miss the Gramercy location.
Me too. Me too. That was my spot. I actually walked by it
Oh.
a couple months ago and I looked over and I just got a little like all the nights just like outside smoking or laughing and talking
Yes.
with everyone after shows. I'm like, "Oh man, I didn't realize how much I missed it."
I know. And it was the best stage I feel like to perform on because
Uh-huh.
it had stadium seating so everyone could see. There was
Yes.
no obstructed view. It was such a great space.
It was such a great space, but I'm glad that we have that kindred kind of connection with each other because it just goes to show you that no matter how long you're doing comedy in New York, no matter where you're doing it, you could always be like randomly crossing paths with someone and not even know it.
Yeah, it's like such a small world, but then such a big world. It's weird.
Yeah.
I was at a festival recently and there were other New York comics that I'd never met. And I'm like, how is that possible? But it is,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I met someone the other night. This is so strange, but I met someone the other night and then I was looking at their Instagram story and then they were in a picture with somebody that I had met the week prior and I just went, "Whoa, like what a random like I don't know." But
World.
the main point is comedy is random,
Very random.
which is Brit's wild word. So Brit, please take us into your wild night story random.
Yes. And I'm like, it's so funny to use that word because I feel like it had its popularity and height in like the 2010s. It's
Yeah.
like everything was random.
Yeah.
But that when you said what's the first word, I'm like, that is what comes to my mind about this
Yeah.
night. Truly one of the craziest nights of my life and was
Oh, I
such
love
an
it.
accident.
Okay.
Not, not planned, not like, oh, let's have a crazy night. I was in LA. I
Uh-huh.
was interning, and I think
Mm-hmm.
this was 2010. So a long time ago. And not to date myself, but
No, no, you're fine. You're fine.
yes. And my friend Maggie had come to visit me out in LA, was like using it as an excuse to come see me.
Of course.
And we were kind of like, huh, I don't know what to do tonight. We didn't want to just like go to a regular bar. So we ended up, I think, looking online for like local concerts. We were like,
Okay.
let's see some live music.
Yeah.
We saw that the Monkees were playing. And it's
Oh
like,
my God.
you know, a band that our parents listened to, but
Yeah.
we were like, screw it, let's go, you know.
Were they also
I
a TV show too?
think so. It's like so unclear.
Because I just remember I'm remembering the theme song that's like,
Yeah.
hey, hey, with
Hey, we're the
monkeys.
Monkees.
Yeah.
Yes. So
People
it
say monkey
probably
round.
it it probably was.
Yeah.
Um, However, you know, we didn't know anything about it. It was like nothing else was going on truly, and it was
Mhm.
at the Music Box Theater in LA.
Got it.
And so we were like, let's just go. We'll go to the box office and see if they have tickets left. There wasn't tickets available online. This is important.
Okay. Love it.
So we get there, we go to the box office, and we were like, "Hey, we'd like to see the Monkees tonight. We heard they're playing." And you know, a security guard like had an earpiece on, and was like, "Uh-huh, uh-huh, right this way." And we were like, "Okay, sure." And so we thought we were like gonna pay inside or something. And we get inside, and it is not a concert. It is not the Monkees playing. It is Scooter Braun's birthday party. And
Whoa.
I didn't know who he was at the time. This was,
Mhm.
I mean, a long time ago. He is, for anyone who doesn't know, like a producer, record label owner.
Mhm.
You know, he produces like Justin Bieber, and something crazy happened with Taylor Swift. I'm
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even speculate the details of what happened between him and
yes,
Taylor Swift because I wouldn't be saying it accurately, but I know it wasn't good.
it wasn't good.
It
This was
wasn't good.
well before that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and we were not dressed for this. Like, I think I was wearing jeans and, you know, a top from
A
like,
cute top, yeah.
yeah, whatever. It was just like so not the vibe. But I mean, the Kardashians were there, like, Bieber was there. We were civilians. We're like two nobodies. And
Okay.
I'm like, I do have supporting videos. I was like, I'm gonna make sure that when you edit this,
Yeah.
have stuff.
Please.
Usher performed. It was like,
Oh my God.
so we're trying to be cool, but we're at, yeah, Adam Levine, because that's another one. All of his
So hot.
clients
Yeah.
performed and like sang him happy birthday, and it was just this complete accident. We're trying to act cool, we're not. Like,
Right.
clearly I'm taking videos. I'm
Hmm.
like losing my mind because we had no expectation of ending up at this
Yeah.
like celebrity event. And I mean, we stayed there the whole night. Didn't really meet anyone because it seemed like the celebrities were like keeping to themselves.
Awesome.
Yeah, we watched crazy performances from people that we would never get to see, especially all
Right.
in one night.
Right. Of course.
And it was all because we were accidentally trying to see the Monkees.
So there was no, so there's all these celebrities there. They're just doing their thing.
Yeah.
Celebrities, they're just like all of us,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
Once you get behind the door of wherever you are. Now,
Yeah.
there was nobody who you're like, oh my God, I have to talk to this person, or you two just kept vibing. And was there an
We
open bar also? I want to know.
Oh yes, there was an open
Mhm.
bar. Like, we definitely got drunk. We
Yeah,
were,
yeah,
you know, and just like anyone who I feel like I really wanted to talk to, like at the time, this is also before like cheating allegations and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
Adam Levine was so hot,
yeah,
and he's on stage, and I mean, I have the video where like he's right up in my face, and I'm like, Adam, like,
yeah.
you know, would have loved to talk to him, but I think they were really keeping to themselves. And like, if I remember, we were trying not to be super conspicuous because we're thinking at any moment this could get taken away from us.
Of
Like,
course, of course. Yeah, we're not supposed to be here.
they're gonna figure it out. And to this day, I mean, I have no idea why that security guard let us in. It was so strange. There was no like, you know, are you here for a party? It was literally just like a code word, and then we got let in.
And you used the right code word.
I guess. And it was like the Monkees. I don't know.
Especially if the monkeys were being advertised and then
Yes.
you got put on, you were let in these doors. How long, once you were inside the party, did it take you to realize whose birthday you were at? And part two to that question,
Yes.
when you realized who it was, you said now like we know a little bit who he is. Back then, did you know who he was and what a big deal he was?
No, we definitely had to rely on like context clues. So we walked in and we were just like, I mean, I cannot tell you how confused,
Yeah.
befuddled you have to be to like walk in and be like, why is every celebrity in here?
Hmm.
And so we're like, what is going on? And then it wasn't until truly they sang happy birthday. And I remember they like brought out a cake
Yeah.
and Justin Bieber was singing happy birthday and was singing happy birthday dear Scooter, and then he came on stage and like gave a little thank you or something. And I think at one point we may have asked like a bartender or something like, whose birthday is this?
Yeah. But you have to be cool because they'll be like, who the
Yeah.
fuck? Why?
We're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
why don't you know that?
Hmm.
But they said Scooter Braun. And again, I'm like, that's literally not helpful to me. I don't know who that is because I wasn't
Absolutely not.
plugged into like the music world.
Right.
We like, I think we went home and Googled him. We were
Yeah.
like, who is that? Yeah.
Well, because people might not even realize, some people might, but some people might not realize in 2010, I didn't have an iPhone. I had like a
No.
little like flip kind of cool pink phone. It looked like a
Yeah.
BlackBerry, but it wasn't. It's like you couldn't just Google who Scooter Braun is. Now you can take a picture of somebody and Google that and figure out who they are. So it was like you guys got to like write some notes down, take some notes, do what you
Yeah.
got to do, but otherwise you're not inside Googling. And that might be another reason why they didn't take cell phones because social media wasn't as, it was
No,
basically just Facebook.
it really didn't matter. And yeah, that was the thing. Like Instagram stories were not a thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
Snapchat was not a thing yet.
Yeah.
So I was taking those videos like on the phone and, like saving them. And I would talk about them later, but I never
Yeah.
even posted anything. Like it wasn't,
It's not that
that
kind of vibe.
culture was not
Hmm.
there yet. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's so wild. Now, I've been at parties before where it's like me and maybe one other friend, and then we kind of find other people. We're like, oh, you're on our vibration. Was there anybody there, perhaps non-famous, that you and your friend were kind of gravitating towards, or it was just you two the whole night?
It weirdly was. And again, I mean, it was a long time ago, but
Yeah.
I remember it just being us. Like we
Yeah.
were reveling in this insane experience that we were sharing. Like we will never forget this,
Hmm.
kind of just drinking, enjoying, because it was really like a show as much as it was
Yeah.
a party. Like, oh, there was also MC Hammer performed Can't Touch This. I'm like, things are coming back to me. Like
And also, what else did he perform in? We love MC Hammer, but that's what the people want to hear.
people on here. So like there was just like song after song being performed by, these people who I think were like half party guests, half entertainment.
Yeah.
And that was it. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Now, since then, that was absolutely wild. I can't even believe like to walk in the amazing luck and like dream
Yeah.
scenario to just walk into a party, not knowing you're A, walking into a party, and B, not knowing you're going to be surrounded by celebrities is just next level.
Yeah.
But now we're 13 years into the future. You
Yes.
have tons of credits under your belt, a lot of writing credits, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I know that you used to be a field producer for the Dr. Oz show, which
Oh, yeah.
probably was a wild experience all in its own, having to come up with all those concepts and what's going to go on the show and whatnot. But and an Emmy winner,
Thank you.
you know, no big deal, but my girl's got an Emmy. No big deal, but my girl has got an Emmy. So you managed to have quite an exciting life after the Scooter Braun party. What do you find you're most concentrated on in your entertainment? Do you find that you're more of a writer, more of a performer, or do you try to find a balance, more of a stand up, or do you try to find a balance between all of them?
It is so hard to, I feel like, to focus on just one. And I feel like it shows how much the industry has changed,
Hmm.
where everyone, and I mean, do you watch the other two, the
I
show?
I loved season one. I haven't kept up with it,
Okay.
but season one, when I watched it, I was like, what is happening? The show is different. So I know the show. I just haven't watched two or three.
There's a great, and I think it's in season two, it's this great episode where like Carrie has to write a pilot even
Uh-huh.
though he just to act. And I'm like, these days, it's like, you got to write, you got to perform, you got to do all of the
Mm-hmm.
things to do anything.
Yeah.
And not, I mean, not that I'm mad at that necessarily, because I love writing and I love performing so equally.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I started out in sketch and then like made my way to stand up. And now I feel like I do stand up more than anything.
Uh-huh.
But I'm always like filming silly characters for Instagram and TikTok and
Yeah.
stuff. And so it's like how I get my sketch itch scratched, kind of.
Yeah.
But it is crazy that like how much you have to balance just to do anything. It's like you got to do all the things, it seems like.
You have to do all the things, and then this next layer of trying to be in the entertainment industry, there's a
Yeah.
whole content creation aspect where back in the day we could write behind the scenes and just
Oh yeah.
show up.
Hmm.
Now it's like show up and now we have to actually show our work. It's like this whole other process.
Yes. No, I have said I'm a living, breathing content farm.
Hmm.
But I feel like it's kind of this necessary evil
It is.
in our industry. But I mean, again, there's pros and cons to everything. I think it's so cool that like, look, we're able to connect over social media and things like that, and like collab on something, and
Yes.
someone from across the country can be like, oh, I love your sketch videos, let's do one together, or
Yes.
something like that. So we're living in the coolest time ever, even though it's very hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find time to go out? Would you say you're more of a homebody or a going out person?
It is. So I'm like, I am one of those, I found out I'm like an extroverted introvert, or is that
Uh-huh.
what it's called? Like where you need to really recharge and stuff. Like I love I'll have like a Sunday where I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm
Hmm.
just staying I'm by myself. I'm not even brunching. I'm
Yeah.
literally just me. Like I need days like that, but I love going out, especially in New York City, like
Hmm.
having one of those nights where you're like, oh, like I watched the sunrise or something. Like I need one of those nights every so often. Like I
Yes.
love those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually last night had a big beer garden night planned with a bunch of friends. I'd been looking forward to it for like 4 or 5 days. And then the smoke,
The
nope.
air.
Yeah, nobody
Uh,
wanted to go out. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
okay. I guess
Great.
not.
I guess we're
Yeah.
gonna be staying in. But yeah, and I feel like you also need those going out nights as much as we need a recharge, but you need those going out nights because otherwise, how are you going to pull experience and do things and like talk about it and use it in your work?
No, totally. And I'm like, as someone I'm 31
Hmm.
and I feel mentally like 21. And I
Yeah.
attribute that to like finding experiences that make me feel alive. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
And they're
stuff like
there.
that. Yeah,
They're
I
there
love
if
it.
you're open to them. Now, also some experiences that probably keep you on your toes is you are a producer. You produce some shows, right?
Yes.
And do you have any coming up that you can tell people in New York that they can come check out and see you live?
Yes, absolutely. So I run a bi-monthly, which means every other month,
Hmm.
in this case, a bi-monthly show at Union Hall.
Nice.
It's called Deep Cats Present Sunday Sauce. And what's really fun about our show is we start every show off with a brand new sketch that we've put
Oh,
together.
love that.
And then it's like stand up. Sometimes we have, you know, musical comedy and things like
Hmm.
that. Like sometimes it's more variety, but great stand up show at Union Hall. Our next one is July 16th. It's always a
Perfect.
Sunday, Sunday
Sunday
sauce.
sauce.
Yes.
Amazing. I love
Yeah.
that. And Britt, where can everybody find you and follow you online?
Absolutely. I'm at Britt Migs across all socials. So that's TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of it.
Perfect. Well, Britt, this was so much fun. It was great having you on the show. I feel like maybe you and I need to hang out and just like randomly go somewhere and see if we can attract a bunch of celebrities to us and have a wild night.
We need to go to like a warehouse in Brooklyn and then just hope that something crazy is happening there.
We'll make up our own password and be like, "Oh no, we know the real password. We know
Yeah.
the real one. It's the monkeys. When in doubt, use the monkeys."
Always. Yeah.
Britt, this was so much fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time and for doing the podcast. And you and I will talk soon, okay?
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Absolutely.
It's a